What's up, Rockstars? Today I have the pleasure of unboxing Company of Heroes, the board game. This is exciting because it's actually on Kickstarter right now. There's a link down in the description below, but we're going to dive in. It's exactly what it's all about. Thank you to my channel sponsor Into the AM. As a company that believes hard work and a great product is a proper way to conduct business, I am delighted to have them as part of the channel. They have some of the coolest graphic t-shirts around and an absolute best fit and feel that has continually exceeded my expectations. With new shirts arriving all the time and other products like boxers, hats, and even a monthly shirt club, I wholeheartedly recommend them to you. Check out the link in my description of this video for an exclusive 10% off everything they sell. Alright guys, let's dive on in. This is a big, heavy box. So, right up front, I love just the layout of it. I love these guys almost seeming like it's coming in, like there's, you know, particulate in the air and stuff like that. Like they're being bombarded, and they're a very good action shot here. Then it shows kind of the heroes that are a company, right? And then the big bold letters, the logo here like this, like it's kind of a mostly kind of snowy off-white kind of look here. Just overall very nice, I feel. I think it looks great. I like the design of it instantly. And if you're wanting a war game, you definitely know this is a box for you. This is a big freaking box, guys. All right, so on the back, again, more action shots here. Just kind of giving a feel for things here. Then we got the, let me get my little pointer stick out. Then we got a little bit about it, right? A war has come to your table. Quiet down my, I shake the table and my little X-Acto knife starts rolling around, kind of dangerous. Play turn-based or in real time, so two different ways of playing, and they allow you to do that. And then they show you kind of the game in a 3D render here. But I like how like they're very much trying to give you the feel of the game, right? Because this is not an overhead look, right? This is more like an outlook kind of look. Like if you were in a tower looking over a battlefield, you would kind of see it like this. And I really think that's a smart decision on their part. I don't know if they did it on purpose or not, but it's kind of how I see it, right? So between this and then between this kind of lower angled over kind of look at the game, it makes it really kind of feel more real, right? Seeing the side of the tank as it kind of rolls across the bridge as opposed to just to the top of it and stuff like that. It makes it seem really nice. So that's cool. I dig that. And then, of course, your contents and your disclaimers and logos and, hey, we're a company kind of symbols and, you know, all that jazz. So let's go ahead carefully. I always feel like, you know the scene in Independence Day when they're opening up the alien that kind of crash landed or whatever, and like opening up the suit and like pops open. I always feel like that's what I'm doing. Hopefully it ends better for me than it did for them, I suppose. Both the alien and the people there, I guess, they both kind of, this is a raw deal all around for that group of people. All right, so the cellophane here is fairly standard. It's certainly not super thin, but it's not super thick either. It's a nice kind of standard feel to it, which is nice. All right. Okay, here we go. Here we are. All right. And as you can see, the actual lip here, not too bad. Just a tiny bit here. And sometimes that'll go away because they, you know, all the tokens aren't punched out or whatever. Let's go and flip this back over. There we are. So there is a little bit of a dent here. Now, again, I don't know if this was sent to me the same way it was sent to you guys. But there's a little bit of a divot right here where, you know, it's like smooth. Do you hear that? Right, as opposed to where it's not. You get that little snap there. Let's see. Glue job wise, I guess it's a little off center too. So if you see here, there's a little bit of gray here. I mean, you can kind of barely see, but maybe you can see that. Maybe I'll lift it. I'll suffer for you guys. Okay, so hopefully you can see right there's a little bit of gray. The line ends right here. And there's a little bit there. And notice there's none here. See on the side it's all white. And in fact, the white goes a little bit over. See right there, a little bit over. and then the image starts. So, you know, either wrap it a bit better, or maybe the glue was just a little off, or I don't know. And then, like, this is kind of an angled corner here for whatever reason, and it kind of bleeds off there as well. And a little ding right here, you know, typical stuff. Linen finish, by the way. Okay, let's see if I can get this off. Now, this is going to be kind of hard because it's a fairly tight box and fairly big. There we go. I got the little cushion out. But you can put a little pinprick in the lid, open it up a little bit nicer. Okay, flip over the box, and you can see it's kind of your standard box here, right? Feels pretty good. The glue job is actually quite nice all around. None of it's too crazy. Let's actually get this silly game out of the way and look at the box. So the glue, as you can see, it's very uneven, right? So on this side, it goes down this far. On this side, it goes down this far. So definitely off center on the glue a little bit, or on the layout here, right? It's much more to this side than this side. But the actual glue itself seems to have done pretty good. No real divots in the corner or anything like that. Cardboard looks like it's you know, a good color and all that. All right, let's get this out of the way and dive into the game proper. Let's see what's going on in here. Okay, so we got basic rules and advanced rules. Now, I will say I like this. I like the idea of having two different rule sets. One thing I will say before we even open it up, my favorite thing that a company can do is make one that's just there to learn how to play the game, and then one to document the game, because you would write those differently. In other words, these, in my mind, these should not be written the same. This should be like a lookup centric, right? Where you look it up and you find out this is the case of this timing or this or that or whatever. This is a learning tool to just teach the game, and isn't necessarily there to document anything, especially between the two, right? That's kind of the idea, I think. So right off the bat, I don't like the size of this, because you see how much empty space all of this is? This is not crammed at all, right? And it's one of those things where if I'm going to keep this on the table, it's actually quite big. And if I want to look something up, it's in, you know, it displays out even more, and it's taking up this much table space now. And again, look at all of the spacing. So I really appreciate the fact that it's easy to read, right? Everything's super big, but I would have actually preferred this to be a little bit smaller. This is an actual picture from the game. That's super cool. I really dig that. The video game, if you didn't know this was based off a video game. Okay, so introduction. Okay, a little kind of blurb here. Learn to play. The rulebook is best used as a reference in conjunction with the tutorial video, and a little QR code to get the tutorial video. Very cool. Then we start with a list of components that have both pictures and numbers, and then the word of it. Super helpful, so I know what the bunker tokens are. Oh, they're these, right? Versus, you know, something else. Pip dice is pretty explanatory, but you know what I'm saying. Like, it's nice to have a name to, especially if there are multiple, you know, a field defense token versus a bunker token. Well, which one is this? Oh, this is a field defense token. So that kind of helps. I'll refer to this often when I'm actually, you know, reading the rulebook. And then we have the 4 sets of minis. This is going to come with things absolutely massive. These are like pimped out army men. Now, I'm going to actually skip over to the very end, so I want to see if there's an index in this one. And if there's not, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Well, the advanced one has it. So in the back is nothing, just the kind of the end of it. See also the commander FAQ in the back of the mission book. Okay, so there's a mission book as well. All right, it sounds like there's maybe a few too many books here. We'll see. Okay, objectives. I mean, again, look how this is way bigger than it needs to be. I get that they can make it as big as the box, but I feel this would do much better, a little bit more condensed. This is just all, you know, like I have to move my whole head to read this, not even just my eyes. But I like it. Okay, so it starts with an objective and then set up. In other words, what's the basic goal? Okay, now tell me what I'm doing. As opposed to, okay, I'm doing all this, but what's the goal, right? It's kind of nice to have that at the end, even if it's something like get all victory points or something like that. Okay, we got some numbers here. Match the numbers there. That's nice. We got a lot of arrows and examples and labels and call-out boxes like this. All sorts of fun stuff there. Some good use of bolding. Different kind of header sizes, if that makes sense. Which is nice to see. I dig that. Maneuver phase. Damage phase. My favorite phase, the damage phase. Damage types. So again, let's see. Is this on the back? Damage types. Yeah, see, here's flame damage, high explosive damage. Okay, armor piercing and anti-infantry. Boom, right there. Cool. Pass the test. Good job. Good job. Defenses. Okay, we got like a little multiplication chart going on here. Okay, again, more examples and stuff like that. So far, so good. This is looking nice. Again, another in-game picture. I really appreciate these. I think that's awesome. This stays true to that, actually. Very nice. Very nice. Commander cards, experience, after your first battle, glossary and index. Okay, so this is kind of interesting. A lot of people do this. It's okay. I typically don't like a glossary and index, mainly because if I'm having to look something up, it's typically not as simple as tell me the basics of the defense matrix. It's more like tell me this is a specific thing in the defense matrix, or I don't remember how the defense matrix works at all, and I need to check. Either way, the glossary information I rarely find actually useful. Normally, even if I read that, I'm then going to go to page 8 and then actually look it up. So that's one thing. Now, is this another thing is it's not a quick lookup because it's multiple pages now, right? And so in other words, instead of one page with everything, it's now this page and this page. And probably looks like at the end of this page. And then there's an FAQ at the end. So it's not even one you can just flip to the back. It's more like flip 2 pages in and then kind of find it and which one you're doing here and stuff like that. So personal preference, I prefer just an index instead of kind of regurgitating a tiny bit of information to me and then showing me the page number. This is in alphabetical order, starting with symbols, so that's all good. That's great. I'm trying to see if anything is multiple pages. With how big these pages are, it's probably going to be kind of rare. But ideally, an index tells you every page something is listed, not just the single page something's listed. And some of these, like neutralize, notice there's no page number at all. Does that mean that neutralize is new information and I'm only reading here? Or is it, like, if it's not in the book, right? So if there's nowhere to look it up, does that mean I have to read the glossary to learn the book? Or learn the rules? I'm not sure there. Like, why does it not have a page? I'm not seeing any relevant damage. Same thing. There's no page lookup there. This is the first time you're hearing about it? Is that where it's defined? Friendly fire, same thing here. I'm also not seeing any multiple pages. It doesn't necessarily mean it's wrong. It just probably means it's wrong. Ideally, I have every page something's listed at in an index. Wait. Pages 5 through 6. Look at that. I'll count it. I'll take it. Then we do have an FAQ, which is good. Okay, so I have mixed opinions on this as well. An FAQ is great to have. It's fantastic to have. Anytime you're writing a rule book, if there's a frequently asked question after reading the rule book, you probably need to actually put that in the rule book so it's not frequently asked. In other words, make it to where your rule book doesn't have an FAQ because it doesn't need an FAQ. That's the idea anyway. I debate on it because there's always going to be questions no matter what. And whatever you're frequently asked just gets lower and lower until eventually it's one guy asked, right? But that's kind of the idea, I think. Like if the British forces don't know how their emplacements work, perhaps their emplacements should really be on there. The only thing I'm hesitant on is if this is like a special ability or something like that that's actually in, like a faction card or something like that, where you don't, the British forces are the only ones with emplacements, in which case you don't necessarily want to put user-specific stuff in here. So again, I'm debated on that. Though that being said, it looks like here there's a Commander FAQ and another book somewhere. So we'll see how that goes. We made it through one book, guys. Let's go to the next one. Okay, this is the advanced rules, and it's thinner. I'm kind of interested in that. I'm assuming it's not all of the rules just to an advanced degree. It's just specific things. In which case, in my opinion, if it's just a couple pages, just stick it to the back of that. Just have an advanced section in there, and you don't need a separate rule book. That seems a bit much to me, in my opinion. Like, if you need an advanced version of stuff, just put it at the back. I don't know if it needs to be its own separate book, especially if it's written the same way, which is nice. I mean, it looks good. I like it. It's just kind of odd, I guess. Because now if I have questions, I don't know if I need to look in here or if I need to look for an FAQ in here. Which one do I look into? How do I know which one's where? I don't. That's the problem. Okay, so there's that useless advanced book. Let's take a look at the mission booklet. Booklet's weird. What does booklet mean? You let me know. What is the definition of booklet? In my mind, a booklet's a small, like, pamphlet kind of thing. But then that's a pamphlet. So maybe I use them interchangeably, I think. I just think of booklet as a small kind of side thing. But maybe I'm wrong. I'm probably wrong because that doesn't seem technically right at all. Okay, so on the back of here, we have like one little ice matrix thing and then credits. Kind of odd. It's almost like this is just the last page and they just ended it on the very back of the book. But I don't think this is really used as a referencing at all. But, hey, if you need to know the ice chart, well, it happens to be on the back of the mission booklet, because why not? Advanced optional rules. Why is that in here? What? Wait. Oh, yeah, I don't like these multiple books scenarios at all. I don't know where to look for. If I need to look up a rule, where am I looking at? Love these images. I really do. Mission guides on a table of contents with stuff all over the place. And then we have map setup and overview. Which, again, I feel should still be part of the rules, but oftentimes they'll put map-specific stuff here. These buildings look freaking awesome. I dig that. Oh, man, look at that. Looks great. Terrain Pack 2 features. Well, you know what? I only got Terrain Pack 1. So, stop showing me stuff that I don't have. How about that? RTS mode. That's cool. I love that. And then I think now we're just in, like, maps to, like, fight each other. With some setup and kind of special stuff here. See, here's another frozen river diagram thing. It looks like that's custom to each one. I bet that's this last page on the back. Okay, so we got more mission setups, more mission setups, more mission setups. Can't flip the pages. More mission setups. More mission setups. 7 set scenarios. Okay, so these have scenarios where we have starting income and stuff like that, I guess. And now on the back here, we have advanced optional rules. I'm assuming just for this and not in the advanced rules booklet. And then a commander FAQ, separate than the FAQ and the other one. And then the last page, I guess, where we randomly have an ice matrix here. I don't know. That's rough. That needs to be kind of thought through. You need use cases. Get like a UML diagram if you need to, but like get something to where you can say, as a player, I need to find out this. And then see what book they would naturally go to or try to go to, or if they have to check multiple ones. Just kind of start from there. I think that'll help you out a lot. All right, next up we have, looks like stickers. A little transfer sheet, stuff like that. That's totally fine. Looks like it was bent a little bit there, but that's not used, so that is okay. Caring for your... Oh, look at this. Caring for your new miniature collection. Greetings, soldier. Okay, bit turrets. Okay, yeah, how to the hot water trick. Yeah, I like that it said simmer. A lot of people think you have to take it to boiling. You don't. The PVC plastic will be plenty bendable just at a steamy hot water. That's totally fine. This whole as it cools, another option if you want to is to get a little bucket of ice water or a bowl of ice water, and then as you hold it there, just dip your hands holding it into the ice water. It'll set it pretty much instantly. As an FYI, crafting your miniature's appearance, it looks like contrast paint, spray paint base, detailed contrast. Very cool. I dig that. Yeah, it looks cool. 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 5 minutes. I like it. Nice. Painting guide. Ooh, look at that. There you go, guys. That's cool. And then some errata to kind of help with rules and correcting stuff there. This must have been added afterwards because this is like a correction rule already based off that. And then a thank you. Well, that's nice. That's awesome. Cool. Okay, I dig that. I like that. Good to inform users of stuff. Oh, man, look at this. We got dual layer boards. Oh boy. Oh, all right. Oh, this is a tight fit. I'll tell you what. Oh, this is going to be cool. This already feels nice. Wow. Come on. Open room. There we go. All right. Perfect. Okay. Wow. This is cool. So look at that. That's like plastic, right? This is like, I forget that there's a name for this. It's essentially what you make like advertising like poster board for. Like you see those like little plastic signs like in the mall or in front of a deli or something like that, and it has like a nice color and it's advertising something. It's the same material. I forget the name of it. If you know it, let me know. I'll try to remember it for next time. But it's a very, very nice material, and it's very robust. And as you can see, it feels good. It looks good. It holds color really well. I think it's one of the reasons it's used in advertising so much. But yeah, this is nice. So we got the little blocks here. This looks actually fairly centered, which is nice. A lot of times it's not centered, but this actually looks quite good. And we got a little sign, or a little image there, and a little image there. Looks good. I dig it. Not bent or anything. This is a treat. Okay, let's move that aside and go to the next little bit, which looks like it's going to be tokens. Shoot, if that's a sign of things to come, though, that's going to be awesome. That's really actually quite nice. I don't know what the cost structure is to that compared to cardboard, but again, it looks super clean, which is really nice. Come on. There's not a lot of extra plastic here. I'm trying to be a little careful. I do that sometimes. Try to be careful. Keyword's just trying. There's no do or do not here. It is just a try. Okay. I think we're in, guys. Yeah, I got this. I got this. Okay, so this is kind of interesting because look at this right here. Look at these little like weird cuts here. That's kind of odd. So right now I can tell you this is definitely cheaper cardboard. It does have a linen finish. It looks like it actually cuts out quite well. Like very well. Which is super nice. You can get a little bit of a hang, not too much. It's actually not too bad. This is pretty sturdy. Even at this size, it's not super bendable there. It's also not the squishiest. Yeah, it's actually fairly squishy, I would say. Okay, so now we're going to zoom in a little bit. There we go. Upside down picture for you. So, as you know, it's curved on one side, right, as it kind of clamps in there, and then it gets hard on the other side. And what you can do here is kind of rub your finger here and just see how much it flakes off. Maybe on my table, see if it does or not. Looks like there are some shavings coming off. You can see the little dust particles here a little bit, right? Unless the YouTube algorithm decided that should just all be black. But as for like the fraying, it's actually not too bad. Like if you push it back over this way, there's a little bit of a white ring there now, but it's really not that bad at all. This is going to, I think, keep it stay for quite some time, which would be really nice. So that's to kind of signify, okay, I've played this for like 3 years now. Like, what does it look like, right? Well, it looks like it'll look pretty good, actually. Yeah, okay, so I was worried about this. It must have just been, I mean, it's still really bendy, but it must just be because of the holes here, because this is actually quite nice. Actually, really, really happy with that. It's all punching out very cleanly, by the way. The outside is fairly smooth. It's slightly rough. Everything here, though, does look centered, which is good. A lot of the colors are going to be a little muted. It's definitely a game kind of like that, right? A lot of that's just from the army and stuff like that, but you're getting, like, this is what, like a really dark beige and a sepia, tannish, brownish kind of color here. And then we just got a whole bunch of browns on these tiles here as well. So nothing like this is not some, pretty fantasy thing or something like that. With that, I don't think I need to really take out any of these. This is weird though, so I don't know what this is. It's some kind of, must be how it's either connected or cut or something like that in the machine as it's kind of automatically going through, my assumption. Let's move that over. Zoom back out, though we'll probably have to zoom back in again. And looks like we got some cards. Now, one thing I will say is both the dual layer boards and these have all come in Ziploc bags, which is quite nice. So far, I have been thoroughly impressed with the quality of everything here. It's been very nice, actually. The only thing is the amount of books you get, I think, is a little silly. That I don't think is smart, but otherwise, I think we're pretty good. So this is kind of interesting. First of all, I love the color. Let's zoom in a little bit. There we go. Okay, but you notice there are like these tags, right? You can kind of see it right there, right? Right there in the, kind of unsightly. Everything's all smooth, and then there's these little nibs here, these little nubs on either side where it had tags, and you can see a little bit on this side too, and it rusted up. That's unfortunate. I don't like that. Like that's I don't know why it would be like that. Well, I mean, I guess I do. So normally, as it cuts, it's a little off center, right? That's where that tag comes in, where one's slightly deeper than the other. Or, in this case, I think it goes almost touching, but not quite. This is very thin, by the way, very thin, like very thin. But it seems to probably mostly kind of self-regulate back. It doesn't seem to stay bent too bad. But I mean, it's very, very thin. Let's see, linen finish, which is nice. But I mean, you could fold this. This is slightly thicker. This is like I've had printer paper thicker than this. Coloration looks good. Like I really like how this looks here. And then on here you can see the different colors here. Gosh, this is thin now. It's unfortunate. I'm really surprised because everything else has been so nice. The linen finish is quite reflective. You can see it there. It's not super matte. It's kind of the thicker line linen finish, which can actually be quite shiny in a surprising way. Coloration looks good. I really like the orange or the red on here. That shows up really good. Same with the green. All that looks nice. So I dig that. The gold here looks good too. Colors on that picture look good. So yeah, I mean, they look pretty. These tags are probably my biggest grumble, actually, even more than the size of them, the thickness of them, just because I don't know. It annoys me that it's not like super clean cut. All right. Let's see, what do we got here? These are like tight fits. So one problem is I feel like it could have been like a 0.5 millimeter wider. Can that like ground the whole way? Okay, so same exact thing. Quite thin, right? Like very, very thin. And still tags on the side too. So far I'm not liking, like this is, it's just so thin. So thin. Really unfortunate. Hopefully you don't have to like, I don't know, shuffle these. Or like I feel like these are just going to get really roughed up. And actually, I mean, like, will that even show up? Hopefully not. Yeah, it looks like it's probably pretty good. That's nice at least. Yeah, anyway, these are, you know, buildings, looks like, and stuff like that. Yeah, different buildings and whatnot that you can do. Very, very skinny cards. But, oh my gosh, look at this. So, we got some minis in here. A lot of minis. And so far, this looks quite good. So, let's see. Embossed kind of Company of Heroes. It bothers me that this is upside down, though. Let me fix that. There we go. I don't think it actually goes that way. Is it going to be really fussy about it? So there's a little bit of a nick there. That's unfortunate. That's kind of weird. But I think it's fairly even. I don't know. See, like now it's a little lopsided there, but it bothered me that Company of Heroes was facing the other way. But yeah, I guess it looks like these are a faction each. So it looks like in each one you're going to get, you know, the various tanks and buggies and whatnot, and then of course the kind of the infantry. I'm assuming there's going to be 4 of these. This plastic is definitely bendable, as you can see there. Kind of unfortunate. I'm assuming these 2 as well. Yep. Okay. We'll save those, I think, again. This is the 4 different factions. And I'll talk about the trays and everything else. But first, let's talk about all of this. Now, first of all, look at this atrocity. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Oh, it breaks my heart, guys. That glue job. So anytime you're lifting stuff up, it's just going to keep hanging. It's going to get all dusty. It's going to get all nasty. I don't like it. You can see a little bit of damage here on the inside of the cardboard box. Maybe you can. Let me zoom in and show you. Perhaps you can see it now. Perhaps you can. So yeah, so right here. Right, there's a little bit of a nicking, and that can come from, here's a great example, on these. You see how it splays out right there? Right, that little bit of a lip. So as that's just going to grind against the side, right? It's kind of what that is. All too common. Alright, so the lid is not locking, and it actually has a little bit of a flare out as well. So the locking will be a little divot in this corner here. It'll go into the corner here. I really like the color of this. I like that it's gray with like this little speckle in there. It looks really nice. And in fact, you can, it's kind of weird. Maybe I don't know. So that speckle, those little white dots you see everywhere, hopefully you can see that. Depends on if YouTube likes you enough or not. Let me pull this a little bit forward. You can feel there's like a slight texture to it, like it's been like sprayed with a very tiny bit of primer. Hopefully you can see that little bit of white there, and hopefully, can you hear that? Here, I'll go over here. So that little bit that you're hearing is it should be smooth, but it's not. It's got a little bit of grit to it. Interesting. Can you rub it off? Yes, it looks like you probably can. Yeah, and then it gets smooth. So maybe this is like some kind of like powder stuff or something? I don't know. Interesting. The tray itself, quite robust. Let me zoom out a little bit. There we go. Quite robust, right? So that's good. That's good. You can see it kind of bending in the sides a little bit. Not the thickest, that's for sure. But what's nice is it is kind of double walled here. So it has this little lip here, but then there's a wall on this side that's also there. Now let's take some of these pieces out and take a look. We got these cubes here. I'm not going to bother showing the cubes in too much detail, except to say the kind of yellowish amber and the green are not very distinct. I mean, they are, right? But I would like them to be a little bit more visually different, just because right now it looks pretty good probably for you guys, but I have a ton of light pumping into this. I mean, a ton of light, a ridiculous amount of light. No gaming room is going to be lit up like this. You'll get a headache. This is for filming. And so in a more dimly lit regular gaming room, especially 3 feet away on the table somewhere or something, I worry about the color difference here. Just want to make sure that's nice and distinct, I guess. The red looks really pretty, and these dark ones obviously are quite stark. I'm not seeing any like huge little tags. Sometimes in the corners they don't tumble them enough to kind of wear that down and shine it up, so that looks fine to me. Looks like everything kind of has this little space too, which is kind of nice. And we do have some dice here, and it looks like the dice are fairly custom, though not the Pips dice. So it did come on the Pips dice. One thing to note on these, and again, I'm not too concerned with taking them out of the bag for you, at least on these. The coloration's good. The painting inside the Pips looks spot on, which is great. I mean, if you can't do Pip dice, you need a different manufacturer, in my opinion. They should be perfect here, and I think these are. Like, these look really good. I'm not really seeing a spot, perhaps this one right here, that doesn't quite have enough white in it. So you see, because anytime you have a dark color like this, you definitely need that white to be pretty solid. And for the most part, again, except for that one right there, it's looking quite good. I mean, these look nice and clean. It's the Chiswick style dice that are like really curved here, so these will roll a lot. If you get the hard edged ones, they're a little bit actually more correctly random, but they tend to plop more than roll, and a lot of people don't like that. The custom ones, again, great glue job here, or not glue, the great paint job here. I think it looks really nice. Even this dotted line, I think, shows up quite well. The little fart symbol there is really, really great. Aiming for the eyes looks good. Yeah, all this looks quite good. There's a little scuff mark on one of them. I'll take it out and show you. So, how these work, our dice are made just like miniatures. They are kind of cast, and then they're put in like a sprue, and then the runner from the sprue goes into all the pieces and fills the cavity with plastic, right? And then they paint it and tumble it. And that tumbling will often kind of mark it up a little bit, but it actually helps polish it a little bit too, and gives it that kind of dice look. And you notice right here, I'll zoom way in there for you. You can see the little, this is probably the spot where the plastic went. So there was like a runner here, right? And then a whole bunch of these plastic things kind of going each way. And this one went to this one to this die here. And it didn't quite either get the paint enough, is what my assumption, or was too thick of a cut to where the paint didn't get to it. So I mean, it's smooth for the most part. It's barely a kind of a clip there, but it's visually noticeable. otherwise it's pretty good. There's a few bubbles in the paint, stuff like that. That's pretty common, especially for big pieces of paint like that. But honestly, I mean, you know, looking at the rest of these and stuff, like they look quite nice actually. I'm quite happy with them. I think they look pretty good. Here's another one, that same kind of thing, right? I mean, these all came off the same kind of mold where they inject the plastic into these. So yeah, it looks like all of these have that little bit of a mark here. Remember, Games Workshop recently had that, I think with the Necron dice that they released at one point, and everybody like yell at them for it. Of course, those are very premium dice that you pay a lot of money for, but yeah, ideally we're not having that. Let's take a look at these. I see there's a different color paint on one of them too. I'll take another quick look at it. Looks like all of them actually have that. That's kind of cool. I dig that. Okay, so let's just take one here. The symbols are quite nice. I do like those. That being said, this looks kind of symbol heavy. When it says stuff like slow on it, that's definitely helpful. It does show a little turtle, which is good. The paint job's fairly good there, but only fairly. The rest is good. I love this color. I think that turned out great. It's kind of an orangey yellow. It almost looks like a construction equipment kind of thing. Love the checkbox. That looks great. Yeah, all the frost, yeah, this looks. I think it looks good. Notice, I'm not really seeing a. Well, maybe. Nope. So right there, you can see where the runner was again. Right there. So that's one thing I think this manufacturer could do a little bit better, is making sure that that's as thin as possible, so that when it tumbles and the paint and stuff, it kind of gets in there really nice. Kind of the best bet there. Let's see how many I can fit in the bag. Oh my gosh, look at that. That was skill. I hope you guys are impressed. I'm impressed with myself on that one. All right, and that's, I think, it for the dice there. Let's take a quick... Well, no, let's keep looking at dice. Let's go ahead. Oh, and look, more cubes. A whole bunch of these. I'm not, again, too concerned about this. They are still in these Ziploc bags. None of the Ziploc bags, by the way, have a hole in them, and so they could inflate with air if you're not careful. So just keep that in mind. So here's some more dice here, and again, I don't think I'm too concerned about taking these out. Them being white, I imagine the corner, if there is a bad one, it won't show up too bad. Different colors, right? So we got kind of a reddish brown here. We got green. Looks like we got black, or kind of a really burgundy, I think, on there. And then a black tank. Looks like all the different... no, there's a kind of a black soldier as well. Yeah, I'm not as impressed with the colors on this as I am on the orange one. The green, I think, shows up fairly well. This red, to me, is really dark. It's like barely red. I would have liked a little bit more brighter red, and then probably a brighter green as well, just to really show up, especially on the white here. I know you want it dark so you can see it, but, I mean, this is almost looking like a brown as opposed to a red. Okay, we got a whole bunch of, like, these, oh man, is that a, like, wrap? It is wrapped like that. Look at that. So these are little trays to put your miniatures in, so they'll sit in these and be able to kind of move around in formation. I think is the idea there. So let's go in and actually take a look at a few of these just to kind of see how they are. It'll be a preview of the minis that we'll see at the end here. Let's see, we got some really long ones here, and then we got some smaller ones here. Okay, so let's look at the small one first here. And yeah, I mean, fairly basic, right? I mean, this is very, very basic. So obviously it's all PVC. I'm not really seeing any ABS here that I would be aware of. It's slightly shiny, so maybe there's a little bit in there. PVC is typically fairly matte. You can see the mold line here, big piece there. And then, of course, on the end here. Overall, the mold line isn't actually too bad on it, though. It's quite minimal. But so is the detail. The detail here is quite minimal, right? It's just kind of a basic... and it looks like they got thicker here, like it was maybe supposed to... I don't know. It very, very basic. But this actually ended up straight, which is good. And that can go right in kind of like that. See? See? And actually, I don't know if... There we go. All right, perfect. Look at a bigger one here. Again, this turret actually is fairly straight, a little bit, not too bad right here. And you do want to be careful. You see how it's getting white there? And that's from me bending it down like that. It's a strain point, and it will snap there if you keep it up. So, obviously this platform here is there to help it normally just be on these wheel things here. A little bit of detail. I mean, still not a huge amount. I like the indent here, where the chamber would go in, and the indent on this side too. That's kind of nice. It's got the little, I don't know if these are supposed to be nicks or not. Looks like there's a little bit of a divot there. The wheels look fine. Yeah, overall, I think they're pretty cool. I dig it. And again, I think this is bigger, right? So this would have to go in. I mean, maybe, oh, no, maybe not. There you go. They can be there together, I guess. And I don't know if this is supposed to be, because it does have that round bit, right? I think normally people go in there, but I wanted to kind of show you the idea of these trays anyway. I'm not going to keep them out for the whole unboxing, just to get them at the end with the miniatures. Maybe I will. Why the heck not? I'll leave this pack out there. But it looks like you can probably actually keep this if you wanted with them, which is kind of nice. All right, so other than that, it looks like we have some hex ones, which is kind of interesting. It has a big piece here and a little one here. Otherwise, it's set there. And then a whole bunch of empty spaces, I'm assuming, for the different components. For instance, like that, which is kind of cool. I dig that. I appreciate that. That's nice. I'll put this lid back on, because I believe underneath here, looks like there's more stuff. Take this out. Right over there. Aha. Oh man, look at that. We even got styrofoam in here. Nice and cushioned. And it looks like they're in different packs here. We get a couple. I'm going to take them all out. It looks like there's quite the variety of art, which is great to see. Let's see if I can put that in correctly. Maybe, sort of, kind of. And there's one more in the very bottom there. And then it looks like that is it. Though now, I'm going to have to shove this in there all careful. Come on. There. Perfect. I'll keep that like that. I kind of dig that. But let's go and take this one out. Now, why these are grouped together, I don't know yet. We'll find out. But for now, let's go ahead and open it up. Oh, it looks like this isn't separate tiles, but instead separate game boards. This will actually, fold out. It's all one piece. That's kind of cool. I dig that. Explains why they're wrapped separately. There we are. Looks like it has its little designation here. Here's Hill 331-1. Kind of a nice way to mark it and make it still seem part of the game almost, right? Which is kind of cool. All right, I think I'm going to have to make some room here. So let's accommodate. There we go. Perfect. Okay, zoom out. There we are. Okay, so before I even fold it out, note a few things here. It's definitely CG, right? It looks like computer graphics, especially this tree here. You can see the line through the tree. There's some obvious kind of coloring here, right? Some highlighting. Again, obviously digital asset. They don't even necessarily look like they belong per se, especially like this. This looks copied onto there. Same here, right? Because this is all blurry. Right, it's like this overstretched texture almost, right? And then these are really crisp, right? All the different elements on it are very crisp, and that's one of the things that kind of changes it. That being said, it actually kind of matches the video game vibe a little bit. Okay, so looking at the connection here, it actually looks quite even. You can see right here, this white line is going all the way down. It's very even actually, which is very good. It is sticky. It's hard to get. I guess I could do that and get a little bit of stick there. So just be conscientious that is exposed. You don't want to put that, anywhere that there's a hair, like a cat hair or something like that. Could stick onto there. But the connection here, very, very small, right? It's not like bubbling or anything. It's not like you get this little leeway here, which is very, very nice. And it looks like it goes nice and flush. I really do that. That looks really nice. That looks good. All right, and let's go ahead and finish her up here. It looks like it's two-sided, so each one's two-sided. That's a lot of maps. My goodness. They packed this thing full. That's really nice. Okay, and Let's see. Let's try and move this a little bit, huh? Why don't we try to accommodate, I guess. We'll just move it to the side slightly here, like so. And then move this a little bit. Move this over here. I'm not getting stabbed or something. And there's more or less a lot of it. You can kind of see a fair bit there. It is kind of interesting that they have like this little center area here. And obviously this is an elevation change, I assume. It looks like this goes up and that goes down. It's kind of the thing. So you can climb up, but then falling down is bad. It looks like it may bow a little bit here, but just slightly. And there are some symbols that are kind of standard. Like there's a little symbol here, right? That's kind of showing up. And then you have the like 1A here. You have 1B over here. You have another symbol over here. And then another one over here, like an ammo thing or something. So I don't know if that means you can't really customize it too much. Or like it has to have these. Or I'm not sure exactly how that works. Kind of interesting to note. But it looks like it has some good open spaces. It's not symmetrical, which I appreciate. I really like that. No battle in real life was very symmetrical, at least most of them. I'm sure there's been some way, but you know, you have the little outlet here and you have a little outlet here, but they're definitely not exactly created equal. And then you have a building here and a building here. It's a little offset. And then let's see, you have a lot of brush here and then not so much here. Instead you get a lot of cliffs on this side. So yeah, interesting. And it looks like this looks like a tank. This almost looks like it was zoomed in and like part of a game map and then maybe some digital assets redrawn on it. Let's go and flip it over and get an idea of another map. Again, I'm not going to show them all. You can look at pictures if you just want to see pictures of what's in here. You're here for the commentary, I imagine. I like this map a lot more, actually. There's a lot more assets overlaying it. And it's a little bit darker in contrast. It's not so uniform in color. And so that's helping, I think, it really, really match it. But there's a lot of info here, right? There's a lot of different colors and symbols and stuff like that. Like this looks really bright and this looks really dark. I don't know if it's just because it's on a dark thing or not. It's kind of hard to tell. This water looks really cool. I dig that. A little blurry, right, in a few spots. But overall, not too bad. Yeah, I really like this. I think this looks super cool. I would love to battle on this one. That one looks awesome. So, a wide variety of different places by the looks of it. And you get quite a few to kind of go through. And a nice little storage area on the bottom here. There we go. Okay, so then after that came this. And you know what's left? Minis. So let's dive into one of those. I'm not too concerned. Again, I'm not necessarily showing everything unless there's something interesting. So let's take a look at our options here. And we'll go from there. Let's do it like this. So, I mean, obviously the red's cool. I think I'm going to do the gray. These are probably going to show up the best. Either the gray or the green, but I think this green's a little dark. It looks too much like Army Men too. So we're going to take a look at these, I think, first. But notice that all these tanks are different. I'll notice right away that these are bent like nobody's business. So at least look at those. But I'm curious to look at these two because these are actually fairly dark. And really, really dark doesn't show up well either. None of them are brightly colored, so that's good. But let's actually start with the gray here. Maybe I will kind of select a few from each and kind of take a look. So again, locking lids here. There's a little spot for cards by the looks of it. It's a little two layers of cards, right? So that's kind of nice. Though there's no lid to it, so it might just jostle around. And here are your infantry. It looks like you get to set them all up in there. That's nice. I dig that. And again, this kind of stuff all over it. It's kind of weird. All right, let's go ahead and take a look. And we got two bags here. Is it just that one bag wasn't enough, or are they different? It looks like this may be the special weapons team going on here, because it looks like they got a big old anti-tank weapon here. Let's zoom way in. Very, very small. I would say 20 millimeter. If I were to hazard a guess, that's the guess I would have. Overall, actually not too bad though. It's got a little bit of a gap here, so it wasn't filled in there, which is nice. The base does have that mold line all the way around. It does have a little, designation there. And this looks fairly good. It actually has some detail there. Looking at the face, I'm trying to get real close here. The face does have some detail, very, very faint detail, but it is there. The clothes are, again, just kind of very basic. A little bit of a, canister here, like for ammo or something like that. The divot there is nice. It is a little bent, right? So probably should be a little bit closer to like that. There's a tiny bit of a connection point here, but mold lines actually aren't too bad. Overall, I think that actually showed up pretty good. Again, I think they'll just go right in there like that. Now, I don't, again, my worry is that without, little divots pushing in or anything like that, that he'll just, exactly, see, just like that, fall out. So if you store this sideways, it's still just going to, like, collapse. As an FYI, I'll probably keep them in the bag. I don't see any reason why not. That way they're not jostling around. They're actually, I think, a little bit safer in there, in my opinion. Just with how loose that is. I'm going to take a look at the normal guys. So yeah, they are different. Come on. Here we are. All right, we'll take a look at just one here. Not too bad. All right, and let's see. I like that look. He's kind of back on the base, which is kind of interesting. He's facing back. A kind of a standard pose. His head is leaned in a little bit, which I kind of appreciate. He's kind of looking down the sights there. The weapon itself doesn't really like show anything, and sadly, unlike the special weapons guide, this is filled in. It's not a gap. This is a nice gap, but this is a mess, is what it is. I think that's his hand here. There's no fingers or anything, and then I guess his big old sleeve here. I don't know. It's kind of messy. I don't know if they're all like that. I'll take another one. The stuff here is actually really good. I even see a tiny hint of some stuff here. But again, compared to like Joan of Arc, which was like 15 millimeter, it had way more detail. So the detail is definitely worse in this one compared to Joan of Arc. So if you have Joan of Arc as a reference, these are worse. Let's take a look at one more. And yeah, they're all like that one. This kind of becomes a mess there, right? The hand's fine. The hands are really skinny, I feel. It looks like they're almost wearing like coats instead of just, kind of a jacket. But all the bases actually seem not to be bent at all, which is kind of cool. Let's take a look at some of their buggies. Love the tires. I really like the texture on them. That's super fun. The windows look good. I like the spare tire up here. That looks cool. I like the little bumper stuff here. Everything actually looks fairly clean here. You can see some swirling from the plastic that happens quite often. The important part is that it's flat, in which case it is. So that's good. And on the bottom here, it actually gives you the army that it's a part of, which is helpful as well, in case you don't know. But again, the color's there. But, eventually if you paint them, that necessarily won't be. Okay, this is nice. This is definitely, so here's kind of the designation this one has. Definitely really nice to see the tread here and just the added detail. Look at all the little kind of ammo belt here and then that big stack of ammo there. And actually that's like separate, which is super kind of cool. This looks really nice. Oh, look at that. There's a little bit of posing action there. That's fun. I don't know if it's supposed to be per se. I'm going to say it was. Yeah, sure. Oh, yeah, maybe. I don't know. Okay. So apparently that's not glued in. I don't know how on purpose that is. Is it just there because they could slot it in nicely? Or is it there so you can paint easier? Or is it, I don't know. Is it something in between? But you can totally pop those out. Interesting. As a painter, I appreciate that, actually. But yeah, and it helps it look separate because it is separate, right? This little slit here looks good. All the, armor plating and stuff, all that looks great. That's a fun little tank. I dig that. Here's more of a more sleek looking one. A few things. So this, oh, look at that. These are, I love this so much, guys. Look at that. You can pose it. Oh, man. My daughter's going to love this. She loves playing with these minis and stuff anyway. That's super cool. Can you go all the way around? Not quite. And if I want to pop it out. I love that, guys, so much. That's awesome. I didn't know you could do that. Again, I think the tires actually look quite good. These are not 222. These are quite nice. I'm surprised the wheels don't turn at this point. Again, armor plating's good. All the angles look good. This looks great. I love the little, grid design on that. That looks awesome. Turret's actually fairly straight. This is a little melty here. I think these are supposed to be lights, but again, they don't look good, unfortunately. Everything else is super cool. Oh man, we got quite a few different ones here. Here's the Panzer IV. Does it turn? Does it turn? Does it turn? Of course it turns. Of course it turns. Oh, awesome. That's so cool. I love that they did that. I really do. That's way neat. Got the nice armor plating on there. It's super helpful, I'm sure. You guys are probably like you guys that know your tank stuff are like, oh my gosh, this is for this and that. And I don't know. I just think little tanks go pew pew. The turret looks good. There is no indent on the end. We've seen on a few other things. It's kind of unfortunate. It would be nice to see. Again, armor plating around here as well. Yeah, it looks cool. A little bit of a ding where the sprue was cut there, but otherwise, these are super cool. It looks like they were able to make them mostly one piece, two piece because of the turning turret. I love that. Oh, so cool. I really do dig that. You can see the assembly there. I think that's pretty okay though. I'm all right with that. Doesn't bother me any. It just looks so good. These are actually really nice. I was not expecting these to be as nice as they are. The cabling here, the little wire thing here, looks really slick. I really dig that. Same with the grate here. The grate looks really good. It just has that texture, which is really nice. Yeah, these bigger ones look awesome. Okay, so that actually looks pretty good. Like, that was quite nice. Zoom out a little bit. Take out the next one. Let's go to the dark one. Actually, let's look at the green one first. I want to look at some of those bent pieces here. And actually, what the heck's going on here? Okay, so that's interesting. So I can swap one out. Is that what that is? Can I pop one out? In which case, which one can I pop out? Is it this one? It is. Okay, so you take that out. And it looks like you can even customize them. Oh, that is cool. Look at that. Look at that, Osworn. We got some customization here as well. I love it. We got the armory box going on over here. Okay, so these move and they're posable, and that's actually a lot of fun. I really get that. I love that. We got a Churchill. Little small treads here. Look at all the detail on this one compared. All right, those Panzers and stuff are pretty slick. These have a lot more detail on the side. Again, all that cabling. I wonder what that cabling is for. Kind of interested. Yeah, all this looks good. Again, the turret doesn't have a little indent, which is fortunate. I would like to see that at the very end. A little bit of a mold line across here. But overall, the mold line tends to kind of, as you can see, trace the outside edge, which is really nice, actually. They, I think, planned that quite well. Man, look at some of these. Look at that little thing. So I guess people would be in here shooting stuff, I guess. There is a little bit of where, like, the trim here actually got clipped. Let's zoom in a little bit so you can see these again. There you are. You can see how it got clipped there. But otherwise, there's no major... it's just a carrier, exactly. That's kind of what I figured. You got your two units here. Not the biggest tanks on this one, that's for sure. Again, this is probably the roughest spot here, is cleaning that up, that little trim there. Can they all just like pop out? Looks like they all probably can. So I don't know which one necessarily goes on. That's just how they work. I guess they're different sizes, right? And I don't know if I necessarily want to take each one out, but yeah, you can put it in there or not, which is cool. I dig it. I think this is still super awesome. Love the kind of the back bumper there. All right, and again, I don't need to necessarily take a look at everything. I'm really interested. These look visually different too, which is super nice. Let's take a look at those bent ones and this green here. This is kind of interesting because there's an empty spot here, and I don't know what it's for. Actually, I'm kind of curious on that. But you can see here, these got bent pretty badly, so you're going to want to, again, hot water treat that. Not bend it back like I'm doing because, again, I'm causing the stress here, which you can see as it gets lighter. This looks nice. All the detail here. I love the sandbags packed up here and stuff like that. The sides here look super cool, so that's neat to see. But yeah, I don't know why it's... And see, even... Whoop! That just always like that? That one held a little bit more. See, so this... See how it has the, like, little... What goes where? That's kind of nice. I dig that. I noticed it when I set this one and see there's the Sherman sign right there. So that's cool. But yeah, when you lift these up, and some of these are just kind of falling out, it almost needs to be a little bit tighter. Interesting. Yeah, see, these are just super loose. So keep an eye on that, I guess. These are cool. I dig that. They look cool. Let's take a look at the dark ones, and then we'll take a look at expansions. All right, let's see what they got here. So this one doesn't look like they have any special weapons. They're all just dudes, huh? All right. Let's look at these big ones here. Got these gigantic turrets that are a little bendy, so you'll have to hot water that. And again, mold line's pretty minimal, but there's no indent on the end. You can see where it clipped to here. Actually, pretty good. The detail-wise actually shows up quite nice, which is good. I'm happy for that. The assembly here, not the best. Looks like both of them are kind of sticking out a little bit. You can kind of see the end where you shouldn't really see that, but you kind of do. But yeah, overall, I think the detail level still looks quite good. It helps it's a little shiny. And yeah, those are definitely going to have to be hot water treated to be better. Because it's ironic because these turned out fine, right? It's just these that were like super floppy, I guess. Yeah, these look cool. I dig them. I love it. I will say that these people are too big, right? So the scale, let me show you what I mean. The scale's a little off. The tanks are not as big as they should be, or the people are too big. Most likely the people are too big. But if this is a tank, and this is a person, he's as tall as a tank? I think not. Right? In fact, his gun is about as good as the turret. So they're definitely inflating the size of the people or reducing the size of the tank, however you want to look at it, maybe a bit of both. But that's kind of, I guess, everything in the core box. There's a lot here, guys. I'm impressed. Like, there's a ton. So let's go ahead now and swap to one of the expansions. All right, real quick, let's go ahead and do the Pathfinder pack, and then we'll follow up with the terrain pack, which I'm excited to see the terrain. You guys know I love terrain. Again, it looks like the box got really damaged here, but again, I might have been sent this different than all the backers. So if you were a backer of this, let me know how yours came, and if you saw any of the issues that I'm kind of seeing here, like with damaged boxes and whatnot. Be kind of curious. I suspect it's just me because the inside of the box itself has like styrofoam in it, which shows that they're definitely all about protecting their game and kind of spending the extra to make it nicer. And so I would be surprised if they skimped out on the shipping. I think it's just my bad luck there. But this is a little box here. It's nice. It actually has a good feel to it and everything. Nice and thick. If somewhat damaged. Hopefully it'll still kind of open up okay. Looks like it'll be just fine. And I bet the inside's totally fine. Okay. Oh, interesting. I was not expecting this. So we got Early Bird Pathfinder here, right? And then in here is just a small little section of units, some styrofoam, and a tank. And that's it. Very interesting. This is a big freaking tank. My goodness. No designation on the bottom here. That's kind of interesting. This one doesn't have it, whereas the others do. I don't know the significance of that. And yeah, overall, this turned out nicer, right? So this is a big turret, but it didn't really end up super bent like those other ones. The detail here is actually quite nice. Again, all those cables here. I don't know what those are for. Let me know if you know what those are for. I'm sure you do. I'm sure I'm ignorant in that. Little gun in there as well. Kind of nice. I dig that. Hopefully it can shoot all those different guns it's got. Yeah, that's a nice little package there with a little bit of foam, keeping it nice. A little bit of a card here. I imagine, though, you can fit that into the core box, too. I'm sure you can condense. But I'm curious about the terrain. Let's look at the terrain. You guys know how much I love terrain. I'm excited. I'm assuming it's all this stuff, which it seems like quite a lot. Like a lot. So I don't know if they only offered 2 packs. I know they mentioned a terrain pack 2, but and hence the terrain pack 1, right? You wouldn't list it by number if there weren't multiple. I don't know if there was more than 2, but I mean, that is, in my opinion, if you're getting something like this is probably one of the better expansions to get, because it's nice to get nice to premium it out, right? And really sell the look of everything. And it seemed like people can actually go into the terrain and stuff like that, which is really helpful, I imagine. Okay, wow. Let's see. Let's start with, oh jeez, I do have to take this out to get one of these. Okay, so here is, I bet it can either be red or blue. Red versus blue, like Rooster Teeth. You get a red one, of course. I bet that just clips right on. I don't know exactly. Is it just like that, I guess? Kind of weird that it doesn't go all the way up, but I think... Alright, well, never mind. Maybe I shouldn't think. Either way, that looks cool. I dig that. Very noticeable. I like the little bit of an angle here. Mold line all the way around, of course. It seems to be the case. It's very much PVC. Let's look at some details a little bit here. I'm kind of curious about this. So, I think, ammo crates, but that looks good. These sandbags look really good. However, they look really small. Again, the scale is different, right? Let me find, was it the green one? I think it was, yes. Here. So, supposedly, I think these are sandbags as well. And you can see the size difference here, right? Where this sandbag is that big and this sandbag is that big, right? So massively different in scale again. And I do appreciate when scale is consistent. It does help sell the look of things, right? Like if you ever get like a transport unit, it's like, oh, that carries 4 people. And it's like, well, no, it carries like half a person, right? That kind of be kind of silly. And again, all this, I don't think it's to scale because the people are actually quite large too. These are some barrels, very, very basic. It looks like they got 2 little bands there, and it looks like it kind of maybe gets a little bit muddy there even. But I like these little, the little flags are cool, even if it doesn't quite go all the way up. All right, let's see what else we got here. Take some of that out. We got some, oh man, some Don't Come Here tanks. Got a few of these. Look at just a few, not too many. Just enough to block a little area, I suppose. Let's see. I really like the look of them. I think that looks good anyway. The one side, 2 sides. Okay, yeah, so it is on both sides. That's good to see. Have this texture. And then oh no, it's really just this side that doesn't. Every other side has that texture to it. There is a heavy mold line though. You can kind of see that big old mold line. Like massive. That's kind of the only bummer I think between those. It looks like they all kind of have that as well. So very mold line heavy. Okay, here we are with sandbags. Again, a different size sandbag. So we're seeing a lot of scale differences here. This is, I think, somewhere in between the two, actually. But I will say that it looks really nice. Like I really like that. I like how non-uniform it is. I appreciate that. I think that looks really good. It's great to see that, this one's slanting on the side there and stuff. A little bit of a obvious mold line there, but actually nothing too bad. And it looks like it sits pretty flat, stuff like too, and it looks nice. I dig those. Okay, so then next we also have barbed wire. This is a Don't Come Here infantry. What this one is. So you'd sit up like that. You got the little stakes sticking up. They're actually fairly sharp. Like that actually kind of hurts. The little coil here looks great. I actually think the little nubs here for the spikes look awesome. What doesn't is this really flat part in the middle here, right? That's the kind of awkward part where I guess you would paint it brown or something like that. It would have been nice to put a texture. You see this texture here in the middle? It would have been nice to like include that too, just like a whole bunch of coils. I would have liked that more than I think plain like in between. I mean, if you look at it like this, it looks great. When you look at it like that, that's when it kind of gets a little bit of an issue, especially when you go to paint it. Like, did you just paint it black? Do you paint it brown, like the color of wood, or you're just gonna have to make a call there. Okay, and then it looks like the rest. Oh, look at that! It's like all together. Okay, I wasn't expecting that. So, see, kind of a rough little sprue there, but it looks like they kind of see right there too. Look, they cut up and pre-built it for us. It's kind of nice. Now I don't know why Is that so you can go in or out? Is that like a customization bit there where you can kind of customize how open it is? If so, that'd be kind of cool. I'm trying to see if anything else really stands out as separate. I think that's really it. Besides that, it looks like this is pretty much, at least now, all one piece. And kind of interesting you can do that. I dig it. Oh, no, maybe. There we go. Are they all like that? Let's see. Let's take a look. Yeah, looks like they all kind of have that little spot there. But I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, it's just more and more of the same. Well, yeah. Yeah, okay. It is. Okay, so looking at this, there's a door there. Nice divots in there. Really deep. Almost too deep, if you ask me. And there's no door handle. The window frames look awesome. I really dig that. Love the roof here is cool. It's cool that you can put your guys up there. Though, again, it is a little silly that there's this huge lip. And it's like a castle wall for these guys, apparently. I like the brick with, I forget the term for this, the spread that they put over the brickwork. But it looks really nice. I like the corners. That looks good. The window frames look nice. And again, this kind of customization, I think, is super neat to be able to do. But yeah, otherwise, this looks like it's pretty much just all one type of building. Plus, of course, all of these. And then the actual flags. But guys, that is it. That is Company of Heroes. That's not everything, but that is plenty for sure to give you an idea of the quality, which in my opinion actually looks quite nice. A few rough spots, right? Stuff like this. You got to clean up a little bit, but overall, a very pleasant package. There is a Kickstarter for a second printing, a 2.0, a second edition down in the description below. Go ahead and check that out if it's still live, and you can see if you want Company of Heroes. If you have any questions, of course, let me know. I'll try and follow up with thoughts and opinions on the game once I get it to the table, which should be real soon here. All right, take care, guys. Bye.